It's Dr. Ryan, and today we're going to talk with Kelvin. He's been a patient of mine for almost a year. We're going to talk about his experience with the clinic in terms of how he felt prior to joining and after, and talk about some of the results he's had. So, Kelvin, why don't you take just a few minutes and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you live, what you do, and some of the hobbies that you enjoy?
Absolutely. My name is Kelvin, Kelvin Wilder. I live in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And I'm in healthcare sales. I really enjoy my job. I really enjoy sales. And some of my hobbies are like working out, reading, and spending time with family.
Very cool. Very cool. So, in terms of your experience with the clinic, let's kind of first talk about how it was prior to you joining. So, what exactly was it like before you started with Summa Up?
I've always been into like working out because I know that I can have a pretty hearty appetite. So I would normally get up around 5 a.m. to work out. I still do. Now I'm getting up a little bit earlier due to this program. And the reason why is that I'm feeling more motivated. So what I was starting to fall into is that I'm getting into my mid 40s. I'm 45. I was about 44, getting 45. I'm like, man, I'm working out, but I'm not seeing the same results that I once did when I was younger. And I'm one that's really big on being motivated, being able to see results. And I knew I was putting in a lot of work, but I just knew that I need to have more of a framework as far as maybe nutrition and supplementation. And
Okay.
because I wasn't seeing that, it was like my energy levels were more dwindled. My sex drive, which used to be high over time, I could tell had dwindled. I really was in a rough position to where I'm saying to myself, I don't want to just exist, but I want to live. I want to have live at my optimal level and be at my best and just really manage my energy the best that I can so I can be there in my personal, family, and business life.
In terms of that, you kind of gave me some great specifics, but I actually am now kind of interested in how these issues that you had, these problems that you had, how they actually impacted those around you, like your family, your friends, as well as how it affected your career. So give me some specifics on how they affected them. I'm assuming probably from a negative standpoint, but just, your take on it.
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you this. I would say that from a family standpoint, it was really bothering me that I did not have a drive for sex like I did before. And I could tell it was going down, but now it's like it's at a nadir, at zero. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? Then the other thing is that my level of confidence is that, hey, I'm working hard. I'm getting up early. It's dark outside,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not really seeing the results that I want to see. And I would say in my business life, I was doing well in business. I was getting a promotion,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to equip yourself so that you're ready for all the things that come at you with work, performing, not just being there, but performing at a high level with your family, being there for your wife, for your kids, extracurricular activities, because you're getting pulled in so many different directions. You just want your energy level to be at its best. And you want to, and I really like starting my day off with reading and working out. Working out, number one, then I normally come and read, get the endorphins going. So I could just tell that if I don't have some type of intervention, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up at the pace that I want to, not just to be there, but to perform at a high level. And that was one of the reasons why I started looking for answers and how I came across Dr. Ryan and Summa.
Because feelings are so important for us to create the correct actions and create the outcomes that we want. How did that make you feel in general?
It made me feel like I'm missing something. And I felt like when I see people that seem like were older than me and seemed like they were in better shape, I was like, I know that they're not necessarily working harder than me, but they probably have more of a formula, a framework, a blueprint of how to go about this in more of a strategic way. So I knew that I was missing something. And with doing that, I knew that my energy would go up higher. I would perform better once I started seeing results along with supplementation, nutrition, because I really felt like that, hey, I'm missing the mark, but it's starting to become magnified more as I'm getting older. So my feelings behind it were, I need help. And somebody out there has the answer, but I don't know who to go to.
Gotcha. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's probably a lot of frustration involved with
A
that, and
lot of
that
frustration,
tough.
a lot of frustration, because you have the desire, but you're
Mhm.
not seeing the results. And now it's like, how do I get coached in knowing some type of way to get to where I want to go? And looking fit, being my best.
Exactly. And we all have a pathway. I mean, when we deal with a problem, we have a framework with dealing with it, but there is eventually a fork in the road where you essentially make a decision to go ahead and seek treatment. Was there like an important event that you had to overcome or that made you say, hey, okay, now's the time to go ahead and do something?
Yeah, what it was Dr. Ryan, I'm seeing people that were working out, and I said they got to be doing something. I'm missing something. They're doing something I'm not doing. So this was a turning point. The turning point is, like I normally do, is I work out, have a good workout,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll read my Bible. And I
Mm-hmm.
tell you, it's like the Holy Spirit said, reach out to a good buddy of mine named Patrick Jamerson. And I can't leave him out. I'd be
Yeah,
remiss if I
yeah.
didn't mention him. He's someone that's been a faithful client of yours, but I've known Patrick for over 10 years, and I'm really big on having good network with people, being the right type of person. I've known Patrick for over a decade. We worked in oncology together, oncology sales. He was always passionate about training. As a matter of fact, he left the industry, which is a good industry that we're in,
Mm-hmm.
to get into training. And
Yeah.
so I called him. I had him on speed dial. I hadn't talked to this guy in like 10 years. And it was like we never missed a beat. And he spoke so highly about Summa Up. He spoke highly about you, Dr. Ryan. And the thing I like about Pat that I don't take for granted is that him and I have always had open and real conversations. And so we just talked for about an hour about some of the things you start dealing with when you get into your mid 40s. And he said, man, I dealt with the same thing too. But this stuff has been a game changer. And if it were not for this program of Summa Up, I wouldn't be able to go from 5 to 8 training people around the clock, doing nutrition. I'm writing a book, all of these different things. And because I've known him, I knew he wasn't selling me wolf tickets. So once he was telling me that, and I've been talking with him off and on the whole time that we've reconnected, I said, hey, man, I'm in. Send me the link, send me the number. I think this is what I need. So that's how this whole deal got started.
A trusted associate of yours and seeing the results that he
Absolutely.
had, Patrick, and he's had great results as well.
Yes,
And that
yes.
kind of just made you overcome that obstacle, be like, you know what, I'm going to take a chance on Dr. Ryan and finally go ahead and say yes. Is this correct then?
100%, you nailed it.
So we talked a little bit about the feelings as well as the experiences you had prior to joining the clinic. So let's transition over to after joining the clinic. What are some of the changes that you noticed in your body and overall health?
Yeah, I would say that I was at first skeptical about doing the TRT with the needles and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Having Pat to come alongside me, you coming alongside me, you sharing your expertise, it really helped out a lot. And then came to realize it wasn't so bad. I could tell my energy levels had gone up. I was a little bit, and I don't know if it was more of a psychological effect, but I was more geeked about working out because I'm feeling like I'm on a framework, as I stated, to get me where I needed to go. But I got to tell you that I think when we did my blood level samples, my blood counts the second go round, and I said, hey, is there some type of diet? And you said, hey, there's a Lean for Life plan. I'll send it to you. You talk me through it. That really took things to where it started to shoot at a high level. This is how I know that is that I started getting leaner. I had more of a framework of doing the cardiovascular work at the end, doing the intense workout with the weights. But what was really flattering was how people were coming up to me and telling me, man, what's going on? I could tell you're looking great. And people are still doing that now, talking about my arms, vascularity, muscularity, all of those things. And I can see it. People at the gym can see it. People I haven't seen in years can see it, and my wife can see it too. And she's like, man, how does this feel? I was like, you know what? It's been awesome. Truly, truly awesome. And so it's like my prayers got answered of having that quiet time and meeting with a credible source and then him referring me to you. Those are some of the things that I've seen, but the diet is critical. And I would say it's a TNS framework of, I would say, training, nutrition, and then the supplementation. Have incredible people with this program to lead you and guide you along the way.
Yeah, we really formulate the Lean for Life program to include all of those parts, all those parameters, and to optimize them for you. And I'm going to
Yeah.
take this opportunity just to kind of brag on you a bit, because when I was going through your data, I was just amazed. When you started the program, you were about 240 right there, and you cut
Yeah.
down to about 223. And that's a pretty decent amount, almost 20 pounds. Waistline actually amazing. You went down from about 38 down to 35 inches, about a good 3 inches. But what's really amazing is the of pictures that you're able to obtain. And you can kind of see when you started the
Wow.
program, it was just it's incredible. Like you
Uh-huh.
had an okay base of musculature just prior to starting, but man, just afterwards, you you look like you could step on stage or be like on a cover of a men's
Wow.
fitness magazine. Pretty remarkable,
Wow.
man. Pretty
That
remarkable.
is,
So I'm very pleased with success you've had with the program.
man.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah, it is. It is. It's a testament to getting some good counseling and having a good framework and following it and sticking to it. So thanks a lot, Dr. Ryan. Man.
Listen, you're welcome. You're very welcome. So we kind of talked, I mean, you mentioned some of the physique transformations, but now we kind of want to talk a little bit of the specific changes that you saw in terms of your career as well as your relationship. So let's first focus on your career. Like
Mhm.
you did mention that you were performing at a high level, but do you feel that has changed somewhat after joining the clinic?
Yeah, I think more of a level of confidence, more of a level of that. I would say my foundational habits are like working out, reading, like my Bible first thing in the morning, try to get myself centered before I start the day. So with that being said, by knowing that I have a good plan in place by a professional,
Hmm.
I'm more motivated to do the workouts, to do the training, trying to eat right. And it's like my whole mental it is more dialed in to my work. It's
Okay.
like because I just got promoted in April and I'm doing a lot
Nice.
more things. Yeah, doing a lot more things. I'm doing like things where I'm dealing with a lot more people and I want to be there for them. I want to be the right type of person and be a resource. But I truly feel like that by doing this program, I'm better equipped for the demands of my job, not just to be there, but to perform at a high level. Also, with my marriage of just family, everybody deals with life, and then also two extracurricular activities of just having more energy, but having things that are more set of how I do things, but always keeping in mind nutrition. Yeah, I sometimes get off track some, but this Link for Life program stays in the back of my head all the time with me eating vegetables and spinach and taking in my whey protein and using the raw stevia in the raw and all those things, the frozen fruit, the frozen berries. I mean, I'm thinking about that stuff like all the time because I'm seeing the results from it. So,
Yeah, I try to make sure to use nutrients to use
mm,
particular foods that are going to be anti-inflammatory in nature, and
that's it.
just looking at the way in which you've improved, I'm really happy about that. Hopefully, you've noticed a difference in your digestion as well,
Yeah,
and in your energy levels. It seemed to have really improved. I'm really pleased to hear about the promotion that you had and the
yeah.
ability that you've been able to take on a lot more tasks at work. And you did kind of talk a little bit about your relationship with your wife and your friends. How exactly has your relationship with your wife deepened? It does appear that your libido has increased, but tell me a little more.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's very encouraging is that I would wear like larger shirts, and then she started getting me smaller, more fitted shirts. And now she's like, "You look great," you know what I'm saying? And then we go to these games. Now the pandemic is not as intense as it once was. You know what I'm saying? People that I hadn't seen in a while, they're like, "Man, you looking good. What you been doing?" You know what I'm saying? They said all this stuff when you go into the gym and different things like that. So it's really been good. So relationship is great. You got more of your drive back for her and for yourself, and just for just having an optimal life. And then I just work on being a better husband. Period. That's always work in relationships. Period is part of it. And just seeing different friends that haven't seen me in a while, it's always
Yeah.
good. I'll tell you this: it's good to go see someone that you haven't seen in years and they're saying, "Man, you looking great. You're looking like how you did in college, if not better." Because I was always one of those people, Dr. Ryan, like you putting in the work, but I never wanted to be the type that when I got married,
Hmm.
and I told this to a guy at the gym this morning, that you get married and you look like someone could give you a pen and pop both of you. Meaning I don't want to get too big, and you just want to keep yourself together so that you can be at your best in all facets of life. And for me, the physical and mental and emotional, my faith, in Christ, that's a big deal for me. And so you're just trying to live your best life. And this has really been on point for me being in my, reaching my mid 40s now. It's been huge.
Well, great. And I kind of have an idea of how you're going to answer this question. But again, keeping in mind that feelings are
Sure.
so important in creating actions, which will eventually create the outcomes that we want. How do you feel now in comparison to perhaps how you felt prior to joining the clinic?
Tell you what, I feel great. I feel really, really good. I'm looking forward to, of course, after Thanksgiving, to getting a little bit more dialed into things.
Mhm.
Trying another supplementation that I'd heard about. Just really putting my best foot forward, but also kind of understanding the why behind why I'm doing certain things that I do with the Lean for Life program, where you're taking in the berries, the antioxidants, how that's a big carbohydrate source for you. And at first you're like, man, this seems kind of crazy, but I will say kudos to you. You telling me different things that you can do to where you're not getting too much off track, but the diet is more of a lifestyle that you can stick to. And by you
Mhm.
kind of seeing the results, you're able to stay more dialed into it, because it's one thing if you're doing something, not seeing any results and it's
Mhm.
hurting you versus something that's pretty moderate, is feasible, and you're seeing results. Then that's more of that whole lifestyle formula that you want to adopt. So I would just say I feel great. I'm very happy and fortunate, feel blessed that I do have something that I can kind of follow to where I don't
Mhm.
have to put a lot of thought in it. I'm not in a guessing game. And just doing the supplementation and trying to follow the plan and work it, and me put in the work and having that accountability.
I
So to answer
like
your
that.
question, I feel awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and I like that you mentioned that because I take great pains to ensure that this is something that will work around your schedule, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
we try to take the guesswork out. We create a plan for you where you just have to follow it and it works. And I'm really happy that you've seen the results that you've gotten with the program and the clinic. Now,
Absolutely.
where you've mentioned many benefits, but were there any other benefits that came from working with Summa Up that you might thought were kind of unexpected?
I like the catalog of stuff.
Okay.
I like the one-on-one time. I tell you this, the things that can make you a little skeptical. You're like, well, I'm doing all this stuff virtually, but
Hmm.
you and your team have been available, great
Hmm.
customer service. I don't take that for granted.
Hmm.
You're a really good teacher, because when I'm looking at labs, even though I work in healthcare, a lot of this stuff I have no idea. I'm in oncology, but it's not like my jam with blood work
Hmm.
necessarily. So you explaining that helps give me a lot of comfort. Us having a cadence of doing that to make sure that things are where they need to be, and you sharing your experience. I mean, like a prime example is that I was doing the TRT 3 times a week, and then when you told me that, hey, your bioavailability, your free testosterone is going to be at an even higher level if you do a smaller amount
Hmm.
per day. I've been sticking with that, and it's not been bad at all. I think by seeing the results from it has really kept me fueled. Just continue to live your best life by doing the training, eating right, and going from there. That's critical.
Yeah, I strongly believe that working close with patients and having a cadence where you're seeing them periodically, we try to see you every couple of months, and the fact that that you're reachable is really important. I'm glad
Means a
that you
lot.
realize that. Yeah. Okay. And
Absolutely.
then to close up the interview, what would you tell someone who's watching this now and is uncertain about joining the clinic?
Yeah, I would tell them to definitely join. I don't mind, just like someone came alongside me to
Hmm.
share the candid information of what they were dealing with, because we all deal with life. We all deal
Hmm.
with different things. I mean, we're all human. I would say do it, but I'd be more than happy to talk to anyone if they need to hear more about this program, because it works, and it definitely works if you work it. You want to change your mindset to be willing to put forth the effort and the time into it. It can be a change of lifestyle, but if you do it, you're going to start to see results. I would say do it, but if you need more of an influence, feel free to reach out to me, because that's what Patrick did with me. I called him all the time. I'm like, now tell me more about this. Oh man, Kelvin, and the passion that he has for it, and me knowing him for years was critical. But I'm the type of person, I'm an upright guy, and I would like to help out anybody who's thinking about it, because this has been awesome for me.
Well, Kelvin, that's all I really have to say today. I really appreciate you sharing your experience,
Oh yeah,
and thanks again for doing it.
my pleasure, Dr. Ryan. Keep doing what you're doing, you and your team. We really appreciate it. People need this.